What is up, everybody? This is Brian, the Toyota guy over here at Fred Anderson Toyota in Asheville, and I am way behind making this video. This is a video I have been actually avoiding for a long time, mainly because I just didn't know the right kind of conversation to have about this car. But today I want to spend a little bit of time with a 2023 Toyota Crown XLE. All right, so this again is a 2023 Toyota Crown XLE. This is actually a pre-owned car. Only has about 4,000 miles, which is going to somewhat lead into the conversation that I want to have about this car. But really the idea behind the Toyota Crown is, since they killed the Avalon a few years ago, Toyota wanted to come out with something that was going to be a vehicle for that same market of buyers, but might also bleed into some customers that would also look at like small SUVs and things like that. So here you are, you get this bloated four-door sedan with a pseudo, kind of looks like a fastback or a hatchback, kind of looks like something like the A7 or like the Honda Accord, what was it, the Cross Tour or something like that. But you basically are left with a oversized four-door sedan that comes all-wheel drive standard, all-wheel drive across the lineup, comes with some version of a hybrid system. This one is the 2.5 hybrid system, which is more for the fuel economy. They do also have the option with the Hybrid Max, which is the powertrain I'd love to really spend some more time with, especially on the higher end, the Platinums and such that have the two-tone look to it. That's one I'd really like to spend time with for performance reasons. But this is the car that they replaced the Avalon with, and the reason why I'm just not sure how to talk about this car is these things just do not sell. And I'm really kind of hoping to have a conversation with all of you guys who watch this channel or who end up on this video, and really just kind of hear from you guys what you think is the problem with this car. Problem meaning why it doesn't sell, because in fact there's no problems at all with this thing as far as what it does, how it drives, you know, the purpose that it sets out to do. So let's talk about it a little bit more. So first off, I'd like to know how many people have actually heard of the Crown and how many people have actually seen one of these in person. I'd be willing to bet that there's people that have possibly heard of this but have no clue really what it is. And I think that's problem A. I think Toyota has not really done a good job talking about this car. If anything, there's a little bit of advertisement for it when there was the run-up before production on these cars. And then I've seen maybe a handful of TV advertisements and stuff like that. But for the most part, this car has been, I feel like, left alone when it comes to marketing and hype and stuff like that. And to be fair, this isn't the only Toyota that gets this treatment. The Toyota Venza, I think I've done a video on that recently. The Toyota Venza is actually one of my favorite cars to sell. And really, to a degree, these Toyota Crowns could potentially take the place of that for me. Meaning, you know, outside of the price point, which I'm going to talk about, if you look at it, right, I am in a four-door sedan, which there's not enough of these being made. Maybe because people are always buying SUVs nowadays, the sales numbers don't support it. But we are in a four-door sedan that is not only just that, but a luxurious, roomy four-door sedan. This is, again, a hybrid all-wheel drive, which gets between 41 to 42 miles per gallon. That's incredible. I think everybody can get on board with that. You know, they've got that Hybrid Max powertrain, which makes like well over 300 horsepower, which is incredible. I mean, that makes it somewhat of a performance sedan. You know what I mean? It's got the power, right? And it's got some good styling, things like that. The interior of this car, I mean, I'll probably show more of it here in a minute, but I mean, I can't find anything wrong with the interior. This one is an XLE, which you can see has the cloth seats, but man, these are some of the most comfortable chairs I have ever sat in. They've got really good back support. I actually think they're fairly comfortable and sporty, the way they're actually kind of grippy a little bit with the bolsters. I love the fabric design on this. Because it's got this kind of like black and white and gray. I don't know what you call it, but it's just got a really sharp interior. Besides, everything on the dashboard is absolutely an intentional design choice. There's nothing that's boring or plain Jane about the styling on this at all. And to make things even better, every single one of these Toyota Crowns is built and shipped from Japan, which anybody who watches this channel or is a Toyota enthusiast prefers Japanese built cars. 4Runners, for example, are still, at least as of right now in 24, all built in Japan. There's a mass following for Japanese built RAV4s because they believe that there is better build quality that comes out of Japan than might come out of the US plants, even though it's making the same car with the same parts sourced from the same manufacturers and suppliers. So again, this is like a Japanese designed and built car. And if you look at the styling of this thing, yeah, I mean, it basically is screaming at you that this is a Japanese car. I mean, the Toyota Crown has been for sale in Japan for basically like, what, 30 years or 40 years? In fact, there's a really hilarious Throttle House video where they talk about this car and the fact that pretty much, you know, Toyota Crown, that name has been used in pretty much all of their lineup. The Corolla, the Camry, and there's several others that are different translations or iterations of Crown. So it kind of made sense for Toyota to take a car that's been really popular overseas, one of the staples. I mean, in the Japanese market, it's one of their top crown jewel cars. It's been around for a long time. So it kind of made sense for them to take something that's worked out well there and build it and sell it here in North America. But here I am in a pre-owned car that we have had for a few weeks at an amazing price point, and we just cannot sell this thing. So here is the original window sticker. I was able to pull this off, and as you can see, again, this is an XLE. And if anything, this is basically a completely base, non-optioned XLE. I don't even know how this happened. It was not a rental car or anything like that. But if you look at this, the only packages and accessories this has is it has the all-weather floor mats, and that's it. MSRP on this when it was brand new, which was, you know, like a year ago, is $41,354. That I think is the first problem. Actually, I think that's really the main problem with this car. This is an Avalon replacement, and you could buy those when they were brand new on the base model trim for somewhere around the like mid 30s, give or take. It basically picked up right where the Camry left off. But now a base model stripped out Crown starts at basically $41,000. And again, anybody who knows Toyotas, and specifically Southeast Toyota right now, knows that almost this whole column over here is usually full of all kinds of paint protection film, Toyo Guard. I mean, there's so much stuff that shows up on these port options here that will make a $41,000 car a $43,000 car, and that's before you get into the higher end models, which easily dip into the $50,000 range. Now, we did not sell this car brand new. It came from another state nearby, but it was traded here. And again, it was traded here with 4,500 miles on it. Now, again, I don't know why somebody had this car and didn't like it, because again, I am in it and I can't find any faults with this car as far as what it is. So it is kind of bizarre that it came here with 4,500 miles. So whoever bought it clearly wasn't in love with it or something. I don't know. But here's the thing I want to drive home. So this is a screenshot right off of our website, and you can see right now, and you can see the miles are a little bit off at this point, but you can see right now this is $34,299. So this car is about $6,000 or $7,000, give or take, less than what it was when it was brand new, with 4,500 miles on it. And that just blows my mind, because when you look at these two side by side like this, you know, Toyotas are known for having insane resale value and, of course, reliability and all these different things. But here is a car right now. Now, I am sure at this point, the way we've got this priced, I don't think we were expecting this to get to this point on the price point and still be sitting here in the parking lot. There's a good and high likelihood that this has been reduced quite a bit to get to this point. But again, that kind of just makes the point right there. You can see $41,000, and we have, I don't know if we have any right now. You can see right over my shoulder here. Here's a handful right now. There's 2 or 3 on the lot that are identical to this. Looks like both might actually be XLEs. And I'd be willing to bet they are more than what this one is here. And we have had these 2 Crowns sitting over here for probably like 40, 50, 60, 70 days. And we have those discounted. And here we are with a pre-owned one. We are a Toyota lot with a pre-owned Crown that is in perfect shape. There's no blemishes with this car whatsoever. I think people might only complain that this doesn't have leather or heated seat. Well, I guess it does have heated seats, but it doesn't have the leather or a sunroof or anything like that. But basically 4,000 miles, it's under $35,000, and here it sits. It's sitting here. It just won't sell. Now, I want to talk about the stuff that I absolutely love about this car, and I might as well start where I always do, which is the outside. And I just think, I know it's subjective, but I do think this is an absolutely fantastic looking car, especially on the ones that have the larger wheels, that are platinums, that have the two-tone paint on there, especially the ones that are white with the black. I think it's got a black roof, or at least a black hood and some other accents. I think it looks fantastic. It is so Japanese, and as a very staunch Toyota enthusiast, it screams Japanese and Toyota design, and I just think it looks fantastic. The way the headlights are integrated, the way the taillights are integrated, I'll show you back here on the back. I think everything looks right. I mean, I even like this kind of like fastback look. Now, one thing that I do think is a missed opportunity, and you can just see it right here, is it's like they went out of their way to let people know that this did not have a hatchback. It's like they're really worried that somehow people that are shopping for this car might think it's an SUV and want it to be a sedan that has a trunk, because I feel like what they could have and should have done here is they should have turned this into a sportback, and you can see the lines would have been perfect. Just make it a hatchback. Make it so, I mean, I get they've got speakers and all this kind of stuff that's baked in here, but if they would have made this a hatchback and put a subwoofer or something in the back trunk or in the spare tire area, they would have introduced a lot more function to this car that I think Prius buyers, you know, this is a great car to move up to from a Prius if you want to have something that's all-wheel drive and not maybe bulky feeling like a RAV4 or a Highlander. But despite the fact that they missed out on the opportunity there, I do like the back end styling. I just think it's got this crazy look. This body line right here is a little funky when it doesn't have the black accents on here, because that's one of the areas that they black out on the back. But that's been something that Toyota has done for years, all the way back from the 80s. Having a hard time remembering where the trunk button is. The trunk in here is totally decent, and I mean, it looks really good. I mean, as far as the Toyota trunk goes, there's not a whole lot to talk about here, but I mean, it's nicely lined. The shape is good. They've got these funky little straps here, I guess for, I don't know, holding stuff down. Tiny little hole for a pass-through there. But you can see it's not that big of a trunk. I'd say it's average. I mean, it's about as good as what you'd expect. It's probably a bigger trunk than what's in my M3. So I guess I would say it's a pretty good trunk for something like this. But the styling on it is perfect. Now, when we come into the inside, I always like to hop in the backs of these things, but you can just see how much room there is as far as leg room. So I've been driving this car. I've got the front seat at a pretty comfortable position for me, and you can see it's really not that far back. So as I get in here, tons of room. I mean, I've got more than enough feet room. I've got big, awkward feet, and you can see the leg room is good, the knee room, the feet room, the head room, all of it is great. And when you look around this interior, even though this has the cloth or the base interior, I think it is a gorgeous, gorgeous place to be in here. This fabric is extremely soft. Honestly, the cushions just feel like it's kind of like your grandmother's couch, you know, where you just sit in it and just kind of like absorbs your body into the fabric. It's so comfortable. The headrests here, the way that the headrests are contoured, just extremely comfortable all the way around. Good functionality here. Again, just a super comfortable, actually, it reminds me of like the old van I used to grow up with. We had this Dodge Ram van that had this crazy thick cloth on all the seats. But even up here with the front interior, you know, where most people are going to spend their time, an extremely intentional and well-designed interior. I'm no car designer, but when you have a design like this that does so much asymmetry everywhere you look, I feel like that has to be commended. This comes standard with this large screen. This is the newer software from Toyota that supports the wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. The integration here of the volume and power knob right here in the center of the dashboard is genius, because it makes it very obvious where it is. The climate control is actually tucked into this little area, this little nook nicely. I do feel like there could be a pocket or something here, but I guess you could stick a pen. But they've got a vertical wireless phone charger, which I've used, and it will actually clip your phone in and hold it. where the dual USB ports are here on the front, there's like this intentional little nook here on the plastic. I mean, it's just like they didn't just stick these anywhere on the dashboard. It was an intentional move. The cup holders, you can see there's this little center divide that can pull out, that can separate, you know, where you might want to keep your phone, or I mean, who knows what. There's all kinds of things I could think of putting here, or just to make the cup holder bigger for a larger thing. Details like this, which Toyota hasn't done in a long time. So this whole center console has got soft touch all the way around it, minus a little bit of plastic here. But this is a dual hinged center console storage box, glove box, whatever you want to call it, with tons of good storage, even more phone chargers and power ports and all kinds of stuff in there. I mean, it just goes on and on, even just so far. Now I'm really getting kind of deep with you guys, but even just the way that the switches here are integrated, this is normal to have for Toyotas. Usually they have them right here along the bottom edge of the dashboard, and it's just this row of plastic blanks, and they fill them in with, you know, heated seats or heated steering wheel, and, you know, the auto high beams and the wiper defrosters and all this kind of stuff. But even here they have this just nice little designed intentional area to house these buttons in, versus just being something like this that's just slapped on there. The digital display here, the power folding mirrors, which come, again, this is a base XLE, and it comes with power folding mirrors. Now, it is kind of weird to have power folding mirrors on a car with cloth interior, but I digress. You know, it comes standard with the auto climate control and the heated seats. I mean, it's just like, this is such a nice interior. It looks good. It feels good. The design of this nice, like, swoopy area here, it just, everything about it just looks so great. So I even just took some time to drive this car, and I'm not gonna make up things that aren't there. This has got the same exact hybrid engine as what's in the RAV4, the Highlander, the Sienna. Now, it's all configured differently, but Toyota's gotten really good at putting this hybrid system in all of their cars and making it work. So all the things you're gonna like about that powertrain are here. All the things you're gonna hate about that powertrain are also here. The things I love, obviously the fuel economy. It's smooth. The way the hybrid engages and disengages is perfect. Honestly, most people that aren't even car people are probably never gonna know when you've got the engine running versus the hybrid system running. However, if you're really paying attention to it and you put this thing like in sport mode, it is loud. I mean, every single one of these 4 cylinders that Toyota makes is buzzy, but you know what? At least in this model, there's no turbos. There's nothing too crazy to have to worry about as far as long time reliability. These things have been bulletproof when it comes to Toyota proving themselves with this hybrid system. Again, it is all-wheel drive. Now, for me driving it and trying to watch how the power delivery is, the all-wheel drive does seem to work, but it's very front-wheel drive biased. This is an all-wheel drive system, so there's actually 2 motors in this, and the back side of the car is powered by an electric motor, as well as the front. So there's a lot of front bias when it comes to the all-wheel drive. Now, it would work well for snow and some light off-roading, like you know, gravel roads, forest roads, things like that. And honestly, with the ground clearance, I think it works great. But all of this does not really go well for handling, which is why I'd really love to spend some time with one of the iForce Max versions, kind of live with it for a couple days. But at least this one, it doesn't handle well. I mean, it handles fine for a car, but doing the little route that I typically do here, which has got a nice windy back road, this has all of the handling characteristics of a RAV4. Like, it's so bizarre. It just feels like the center of gravity isn't correct on it. I would way prefer to drive a Prius for something fun as far as like handling, just because it's so much lower to the ground, or a Camry hybrid. It's lower to the ground. The tires have a better contact patch just because of the weight is. So not a sporty driving car in that way. But honestly, I drove it around. It's great. It feels super solid going down the road. The power's just fine. There's more than enough of it. The all-wheel drive is handy. The fuel economy is fantastic. Like, what's wrong with this thing? So I'd really love to hear, what do you guys think? I mean, I work here for Toyota. It's well known that I am a Toyota nerd. Someday I'll show my collection, which some of you may like, some of you may not even care about. But I think this is a great car. Like, on paper, sitting in it, driving in it, I think this is a great car. I'd like to know what you guys think. You guys, the ones watching this video, are the ones that are potentially looking at buying this car, or maybe you own this car already and you're kind of curious to see what others are talking about it. But I do love this car. I think where it falls apart is when it's priced. I mean, when you're looking at a car, a Toyota of all things, that starts at $41,000 and very quickly gets in the $50,000 range, which is $5,000 or more greater than the Avalon that they replaced. And these have all the tech and stuff in it now, which I, as a 35-year-old, love, but I don't think they're going to really fully enjoy these cars the way that they're intended to when it comes to the buyers that are typically buying Avalons. They're not really going to appreciate this car as much until they get to spend some time with it. But I think if it just weren't priced so high, I think they would sell better. Now, where I really want to leave you guys with this video is, yes, I want to have a discussion about this car. I really can't wait to read the comments and see kind of what you guys are feeling about this car. Why would you want one? Why aren't you buying one? But Toyota's kind of doubling down on this whole Toyota Crown thing, because we are weeks or maybe months away from the Crown Signia making its face known, I guess. The Crown Signia is basically going to be the Venza replacement, which is going to be the upper echelon for like the mid-size luxury SUV. And I think the only problem with the Venza right now is, again, same thing with this, it doesn't get the advertisement that it should have had. I think they could have just rebadged the Venza as a Crown something or whatever, but instead they are killing off the Venza, which I absolutely love. I try to sell every single one that I can get in, and we are going to have a Crown Signia, which is going to be not a third row SUV, which I think some people are confused about. But what my fear is, as a Toyota salesperson, is we are struggling to sell these, and it's because of the price point. And from what I understand is going to happen with the Crown Signia, we're going to have basically like a RAV4 sized car that's probably going to start at like $50,000 or more. And the idea of having like a Toyota badged 2-row SUV that could be like $50,000 to $60,000 without a Lexus badge on it, I don't really fully understand it. I don't know if Toyota's just losing their way when it comes to understanding their buyers. They're trying to just pull so many people over from some of these luxury brands that might be buying, you know, like the smaller mid-size Audis and BMWs. I don't know. But more importantly, let me know what you think. If you've made it this far, as always, thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.